Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. So in previous video we have discussed about the different Linux commands that we are using in day-to-day life. So in this video we are going to study about the file hierarchy about the Linux. What are the file directories present in a Linux and what are its purposes. So all these file hierarchies are present in a root directory. So what is this root directory? So in Windows system we have a C drive which is a system drive where all the OS systems are present on it. So similarly in case of Linux we have a special like that only, there is a root directory. So in root directories it has a different types of directory files which has its own purposes for supporting for running the OS properly in your system. So how we can see this different directories of the root directories. So to see the all these file systems in a root system, we need to first enter in the root directory itself, right? So how we can enter in the root directory? So in the command section, we have studied that if you want to go in different types of directories, then we need to use cd command. After that, you need to pass the path in which you want to enter. Okay, so here the root directory is simple, the forward slash. The forward slash means itself is a root directory. Okay, so first we are going to enter in the root directory. Okay, so now we are in root directory. So if you want to see the different files directory, what was the command? We know that, right? It is ls command which will list all the files. Okay, here you can see the different files present over there. Okay, so these are the files which present in your root directory, and all the commands that we are executing are present in some of these folders. Okay, so we are going to study these directories one by one. Okay, so if you want to see in a different way, like it just listing the directories in a normal way, right? So there is a special command, there is a tree command. So tree command, we will list it down your directories in a proper way, like a tree way. Okay, so to see this in tree way, there is a command tree. Okay, after that you just need to pass the levels. Suppose I want to see the how many levels you want to enter for the each folder. Like in folder inside there will be many other folders itself. Okay, so how many times you want to how many folders you want to see for each folder? Like I can say level. Suppose if one folder has 3 files. Okay, so like where I see that in one folder it has inside is a 3 folders. Okay, so I just want to see only one folder itself, so I just pass a number 1. Okay, and if I require that the folder should be seen the 2 times. If a folder has 3 folders, okay, inside I want to see 3 folders, so I will pass 3. Okay, so I just need to define the levels. Okay, so for that I just need to pass a flag that is -l. So this is the level. This option will tells how many levels down you want to see. Simple I is saying that how many you want to go, how many folders you want to see. If it is 3 folders inside for each folder, then if you want to see only 3 folders, just pass 3. Okay, and if you want to see only one folder, just send 1. Okay, so I'm just passing 1 over here. Okay, then for which path you want to see? Here I want to see for the root directory. Root directory is like a forward slash, so it will show all the files for the root directory. So I'm passing over here, so you can see all the folders or directories are listed over here in a proper tree format. So let's change this number. Okay, if I say let's change this number to 2. Okay, so it is going one level inside. So you can see there is a lots of files present over here, lots of files. Okay, so it will just change the showing of the folders. If you change the number to 2, it will show another folder as well for each folder. Clear, right? So by changing this number, you can list down the number of, you can control how many folders you want to show. Okay, if I change again to 1, it will go back again. Okay, so this way you can see what are the folders are present in each of the folders. Okay, so let's go one by one what the folders significance is there in a Linux system. You can also see the man page of it. So these are all folders description are present in a man page. Man is a manual page. Okay, so if you want to see what these files indicates or directories indicates in Linux system, there's a command man, and after that hierarchy. So for that we press man, that is for manual command. So whatever command you want to see, like I want to see the manual for ls command. Okay, so just write man ls. Okay, so it will listed down all the description of the ls command over here. Okay, so it tells list directory contents. These are all the flags that are present over that were discussed in a previous sessions, right? So like this you can see the description of all the commands. So if I see the manual of the hierarchy, so there we go. So I just tell earlier that this forward slash is a root directory. This is where the whole tree starts over here. And these are all the folders that has in a Linux system. User libc, user local bean, user local games. So all these folders are present in the Linux and each has its own importance for running your Linux system. Okay, so let's see the boot directory. So for boot directory we are just entering the boot directory. So now we are in boot directory. So let's see what's present in the boot directory. Okay, it has a different files like config file, then init.rd, grub, then system.map, then VM Linux, then system map. So what are these files? So let's see the content of it. Let's see content of this config file over here. It's 5.0, then 25, then generic. Okay, so this is the configuration file for the kernel. Okay, so it contains all the configuration files for which the kernel is built. Okay, so from this configuration file you can see what are the required parameters has been set for kernel building. Okay, so like in short, this contains all the configuration files, what are the configuration has been done for the kernel. Okay, so from this file you can see what are the current configuration the kernel is supports. Okay, after that it's the init.rd. So what is init.rd over here? This init.rd is the initial RAM disk which is loaded by the kernel at the boot time, and also it loads the temporary file system into RAM at the time of booting. before actually mounting the file system. Okay, so init.rd is basically the initial RAM disk. So before loading your actual file system to your during boot time, it actually loads the temporary file system. So it helps to boot up your Linux system properly. If it doesn't load your the file system proper, means your virtual file system during the boot up time, then it will not correctly boot your system if this image is corrupted in some case, right? So the significance is that it initially loads the RAM disk, or you can say the kernel at the boot time. The kernel loads this file during the boot time, and it loads the temporary file system into RAM, okay, before loading the actual file system, so that it only helps your your booting time in your what are the files are required for the boot. It loads by the kernel, but it is a temporary file system, it's not the actual file system that will be helpful for your booting the kernel. So init.rd is useful for initial boot up of your kernel, which is not a permanent file system, but it is a one type of temporary file system at a RAM during the boot up time, which is useful. Second is the VM Linux. So what is this VM Linux? So VM Linux is stands for the Virtual Memory Linux Kernel Zipped. So this is a kernel file, but it's in compressed format. Like in Linux, we have different like Z image, then U image. We also have this VM Linux image as well. Like in controllers, we have a U image, like a U boot. Okay. So in this kernel system, we have this VM Linux image. So VM Linux is actually the complex Linux kernel image, which is used at the time of the booting Linux operating system. So this is a kernel file, but it is a compressed. So it loads, the kernel loads this image, compressed Linux image, which loads the booting time, but also it uncompresses it. Okay. So in short, it is a one type of a kernel image only, but it is in zipped format. Okay. Second is a system.map. This system.map file is a symbol table used by the kernel. So symbol table means a symbol can be your variable name or can be your function name. Okay. So let's see what this symbol map contains. Let's say it's 32. Okay, it needs a sudo command over here. Let's use sudo command. Let's go password. Okay, so it is symbol table. Like I said, in symbol table we have addresses and the symbol name. Symbol name can be a variable name or can be a function name. Okay, so left hand side it is the addresses. Okay, right hand side it has a symbols. Okay, so it contains all the symbols name. So this grup is basically your your bootloader. Okay, so this indicates means this is helpful for the loading your whole OS systems in before you're starting. Okay, so this file is used for bootloader grup to load the grup related configurations. Clear? So once again, I repeat, this it has config file. This config file is basically it contains all the kernel configuration settings in which the kernel is built. Second is the init.rd. Init.rd is basically initial RAM disk which is loaded by the kernel on a RAM as a temporary file system, but not actual file system. It loads after the booting time completes. Second is the VM Linux. This VM Linux is basically the virtual memory Linux kernel zipped. It is a compressed version of the kernel and which is uncompressed during the boot time. Third is the system.map. System.map contains all the symbols table used by the kernel. So these symbol tables, maybe it has your variable name, it can be a function name. And last is the grub, which loads all the grub related informations. So this is the main part of your boot section. So let's go to the next section. We just go to the main directory. So next, let's see about this bin folder. So what this bin folder is used for? So bin stands for the binary, which means an executable files. This folder contains the commands or scripts or executables which can be executed to accomplish a task. Okay, so this bin folder has, I think, 6 types. Let's go inside over here. cd bin. Okay, so it has a huge number of folders present over here. Okay, so basically in bin folder we have 6 types of different folders. First is bin itself. Bin we have, then after that we have sbin, then user bin, then a user sbin, then a user local bin, then user local sbin. Okay, so these are the folders that present in a bin. Let's see one by one. So basically in a bin folder, let's go in this bin folder over here. Okay, so basically in bin folder we have the binaries for use by all the users. Okay, so it also have the commands which can be executed by the different users as well. Okay, and secondly, this binary contains the executables which are required by the system for the emergency repairs, the booting, and the single user mode. Single user mode means this the root user. Okay, so here you can see all the commands which we can use in a single user mode or during the emergency repairs. Okay, so let's see this. What are the commands present over here? This is a browse command. Yes, this is an nm command over here. Okay, so this nm command will list down all the symbols present in your C file. Okay, so in this folder all the commands which are present can be used by the different users. Okay, like this is a gstreamer. So gstreamer command can be also be used by all the users, so it's present over here. Okay, so this bin folder contains all the commands which can be used by all the users irrespective of your privileges. Similar this ld command, your pwd command that shows your present working directory. So these commands are present which can be used by the different users. Okay, so next is the sbin. So let's go to the sbin folder. So in SBIN, it stands for the system binaries or super user binaries. It contains command that needs to be available at the very beginning of the OS initialization and at the shutdown and too. Okay, so this folder is required for changing the system properties or system level. Means if has it has all the privileges, means it has contains the commands which can be executed by the system administrator. Okay, like I can say the command is like ifconfig then root. Okay, so all these commands are present in this sbin command. Okay, like this reboot, this rmmod, then this lsmod. Okay, so all these commands require the root access. Okay, so in this the commands which are present is available for the administrator. It may not be available for the normal users. Okay, so you understand the difference, right? In bin folder it's useful for all the users, but in sbin it's only allow for the super users. Okay, another is the user bin. So what this user bin is? So firstly, the user is a generally for the user or administrator added libraries. Okay, and the user bin is basically it's somehow similar to the bin folder, but it is the most program which is executed by the normal user and it's not needed for the booting or for the repairing the systems. Like in previous slash bin, it is useful for the repairing the systems when there is some problem. Means your OS will use that files present in the slash bin. But in case of user bin, it is not there like in case of bin. It is justly used by the normal users, not for the special needed like during the booting. Okay, so these commands are not installed locally, but it should be placed in the directory itself. So this command like the vi command. Okay, so what is this vi? Actually in Linux we have a different editors like gedit, then vi, then vim. Okay, so whatever the command that you are going to use which is available for the normal users are present over the user bin. Okay, so there is a slight difference between the user bin and user bin and the only bin. Okay, so let's see what are the folders present in the user bin. Okay, so this is the commands which are present in the user bin folder. Okay, so these folders which contains mostly the commands which are not needed for the booting or the repairing of the systems. While in case of the in the only bin folder, it has all the commands which are required for the repairing of the system and for the booting. Okay, here you can see different commands present over here, like cpp, which is used for the like a C++ means compilation, C++ compilation, and the gstreamers as well is present over here. So some commands may be the common between them, but some of the commands may not be available in the bin or in this user bin. Okay, so that was a difference and from between this bin folder and this user bin folder. So next is the user s bin. So let's go to the user admin over here. So user admin, it will contain the files which is used by the system administrator. Okay, like the Bluetooth and the drop bear. Okay, so let's see what are the contents over here. So you can see the Bluetooth. Okay, yes, to be present over here. Okay, sorry, my system does not. Here is the Bluetooth HD command. Okay, so these are the commands. Means is present over the user admin. So these are some of the commands which going to be used by the system administrator, which are used after the booting of the system. Okay, like add user. Okay, like in Windows we have a control panel in which we are adding some new user from the control panel, and then we are add user over there. Okay, the same case in Linux we can use this add user, then chroot, then group add, then group created commands. Okay, so all these are present over here in a user admin. Lastly, we have this user local. So basically in a user local, let's see this command over here. For the user local, and then we are going for the bin folder. User local bin. Okay, so in the user local bin is basically it has the system administrator files which are built by him. Okay, like I say, if I'm installing some of the packages from your Ubuntu stores. Okay, so what are the packages which are installed by the Ubuntu stores will be located in the SBin itself. Okay, like any third-party software, like a GIMP is there, then your Mozilla Firefox is there. So all this will be installed in the SBin. But let's say I want to make our own package. Okay, so after making your own package and you are compiling your packages, so it will generate some output file. Okay, so whatever the package you are building in your system, it will locate it in your user local. So yes, in your user local folder. Okay, and these packages are files, we can say, are built by the system administrator. Okay, so after system administrator make some packages for you, then it will be located in a user local bin folder. Okay, and lastly, for the user local sbin, it is a locally installed programs for the system administrator. Clear, right? So these were the folders for the bin type. We have studied the bin, sbin, user sbin, user local bin, then a user local sbin, and there are different significance and what they stores. Okay, so let's move back to again. So we have gone through the boot folder and the bin folder. Okay, this CD-ROM is basically whenever you are inserting your CD, it will load the file system over here. But right now it's not any use. It simply load your file whenever you insert your CD. Okay, we are now going to see this. Second is the device type folder. Okay, So this dev is basically, it contains all the device configurations file. In Linux, everything is a file. It treat hardware device too as a file. So all hardware files present in dev device folders. Essentially, like example, this dev null. Okay, so many of these are generated at the boot time, even on the fly. Okay, so most of the files which are present during the boot time are generated in the dev folders. Okay, so let's see what is present in this dev folder over here. Okay, so you can see different folders and folders present over here. So you can see this is SDA and this is SDA1. So this is the hard disk name, the partition or the file system present for the hard disks. Okay, and this is all the, you can see the serial terminal command, serial terminal ports which are available over here. Okay, and this is the hard disk. So I can say it is a block device. I can say all the block devices are listed over here, and this is the character devices which are present over here. This is the proper term. If I'm going for the hard disks, we can see it is a block device, and if this is the some serial terminal, then you can say it is a character devices. Okay, lastly it has some unique folder as well. It has some dev 0 and this dev null. Here you can see this dev 0 and another is the dev null, this one. Okay, so if I say I just hook up my pen drive, let's see if it mounts the pen drive or not. Okay, I'm just hooking up my pen drive. I just, let's see again, it is, so this is the pen drive which is now showing up over here. If I just remove my pen drive, so let's see it shows some changes or not. Okay, here you can see the STB is no longer present over here. Okay, so what are the removable device you are inserting to show up in this device system as well? Clear? Okay, so next is the device, this null and this 0. Okay, so what is the significance of this device 0 and this device null, with dev 0 dev null? So dev null is basically, it returns the end of the file, means when you're trying to read that file it will always return 0, and when you write the data on dev null it will discard it. Okay, so you can read continuously data from dev null, it will always return 0, but in case of your writing data over here it will not accept it and it will discard it. In case of dev 0, it returns the endless bytes of zeros. Okay, so data return will be discarded. Okay, so let's see the contents of this dev 0. CD then 0. I need to use cat. So what was happened just now? I say that it returns endless bytes of 0. Okay, so it will not print over here. Okay, so I need to use some other commands over here. So there is one command like od. So just let me use the od command. Okay, so this OD command listed that 00 is present over here. Okay, it's not ending, right, because the files is very huge. Okay, so it continuously going to the end of the file. Okay, so this OD command is printing the data in a octal format. Okay, if the file is very small, then it will print rapidly, but as you know, it will list down endless bytes of 0. Okay, so it's continuously looking the end of the file. Okay, so what are the use of this 0 and this null? Okay, so basically if you want to create some files with some uh, specific size, let's say, so you are not going to write all the random characters again and again, like if you want to create some file over 1 MB. Okay, what you will do, you will write 1 MB of data over here? No, it's a wastage of time, right? So in that case you can use the dev 0. Okay, so dev 0 will be give you the data 00, and you can redirect this output to your file with a specific size. Okay, so how we can do that? For this you can use a command that is dd, that is a disk write, and input. So what's the input? Input will be dev0 and the output file, it's of. From so in this you have to pass the destination file. So let's use this temp folder over here, and let's say test.txt. Okay, so with this it will just take input file. I forgot the equals to over here. Okay, so it will take input file from this dev0, and after that it will write this 00s over this file, that is test.txt. Okay, and after that I need to pass the block size, that is ps. So let's use a block size of 4 KB, 4096 bytes, let's say. And after say I use count. How many count you going to use 4096? I'm using let's say 1000 times. Okay, so it's now created 4 MB of file. Easy, right? So just imagine if you are going to write different random characters for making a 4 MB of file. It's a lot of wastage of time. Okay, so with using the dev0 you can create different files with no meaningful data. Okay, so let's see the size of that file. I'm just going in a temp folder, temp test dot. Okay, let's go temp only. Okay, if I use file test.txt, so it's text data. Let me see. So it will show the description of your file. Okay, if I using file command. Okay, it's not showing the file. Let's use the ls command, ls-l. Okay, so you can see it's showing your size in the bytes. So if you want to see the in readable human readable format, just pass the h. Okay, so it's created 4 MB of file. Okay, so by using this dev0 you can create a file with no meaningful data. Okay, so if a requirement is there, I want to use some different files with some specific size for any kind of testing, so you can use this dev0. Okay, so with using dev0 you can create many large files. Okay, just you can change this count or this block size. Okay, so after that you can make your test file for testing. Okay, so what is the use of then dev null? So dev null will can be used if you want to suppress the outputs or you want to delete the contents of the file. Okay, so right now I have created the file like 4 MB using the dev 0. Okay, so if I want to make this file 0 means of 0 contents, how I can do that? Okay, so for that you can use this dev null. Okay, and just redirect its output to your destination file. Okay, so I'm just creating this cat then dev null. Okay, this will read your file, I mean so read the contents of the null, and I'm redirecting with temp then test.txt, right? So let's see the size of test.txt. Okay, space is there, so you can see just delete the contents of your file. Okay, so by using your dev null it will just delete the contents of the files, and if you want to create the file with no meaningful data you can use the dev 0. Okay, so let's move to another directory. So the next directory is the etc. So etc is basically the everything to configure. So everything to configure, it contains the system wide configurations files. Let's enter over this what this contains. Okay, so it contains all the system wide configuration files. This is the first thing. Second thing is there, it contains the configuration files required by all the programs. Third thing, this also contains the startup and shutdown shell script that is used to start and stop the individual programs. Sorry. So these are the three things in which the etc contains. Okay. It also contains the host name. How I can see the host name? Let's check it out. Cat host name. Sorry, sorry, mistake. Host name. Okay, here you can see the host name is Amit VirtualBox. Okay, so if I want to see the number of modules that is loaded at a startup, I can see cat modules. Okay, so it will list down the modules to be loaded at a startup. Right now there is no any modules present. This means it will contain all the custom modules. Okay, so when we are studying the Linux device driver, at that time we will make our custom modules. So at that time if you want to load your modules at startup, we need to put this module in this path. Okay, so in device driver session we are going to study how we can make our own modules and load that module in our startup. Okay, so currently there is no any module present over here, so that's why it's showing the blank. Okay, so if you are making your own modules, you need to put that module in this path, that is etc modules. Okay, it also contains the hosts like cat host. Okay, so it will list down the IP addresses of two. It loads the local IP addresses, so it will show the IP of your current users. Okay, you can also see the password. let's see the password, means it shows the user details. Okay, so it will store the all the passwords for the users. Okay, so etc, everything to configure, it contains the system-wide configuration files. It is a configuration files which are required by all the programs. Second, it contains all the startup and shutdown shell script that is going to be used for the start and stop individual programs. Clear? Okay, so our next is the home. Let's see what our folders are present. Okay, this is the home folder. So home folder is basically, it is a home directory for all the users. Okay, like in C drive we have a user documents, then downloads. Like the same way we have a home directory for the Linux users. Okay, so it contains all the personal files of the user. For example, if the username is like a John, so this home folder will be located in the home John. Okay, so all the files is personal files can be, it will be stored in the home folder itself. Okay, then there is a root. So root is basically the home directory of the root user. Okay, where the whole file system is present over here. Then we have this lib folder. So lib folder is basically the libraries which are essential for the bin and sbin. Okay, we have already studied what files are present in a bin and sbin. Okay, similarly in the lib modules, it contains all loadable modules of the kernel in this directory. Okay, then there is a media. So media is basically it is a directory where the external storage will automatically mounted when you plug it in and try to access it. For example, you insert a CD in your Linux system. Okay, so it will automatically create inside a media directory. Okay, so it's just mounting the file system for the removable file storage. Okay, so all the file system will be present in the media for the removable device. Okay, and next is this mount folder. Okay, so mount directory is basically it is a temporary mounted file system. For example, if you're mounting a Windows partition to perform some file recovery option, then you need to mount some Windows file, right? Like in Windows you have some .iso file system, so it will temporarily mount your ISO file system in this mount. Okay, so to mount a file system we have some command, that is mount, then it's -t, then just need to pass the file name like ISO 555, then -o, then a loop is a special flag, then path, then to image. So these are the path that I am passing. Let's say free.iso and /mount. Okay, so this is the demo path. In this case you need to pass the original path over here, path to free ISO, and then in mount directory. Okay, so simply this will mount the file system, temporary file system on your mount directory. Okay, so you will see this mount command in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so whatever the ISO files that we're going to mount will be mounted in this mount directory, that is mnt. Okay, so if you want to mount some ISO file, then we can use this mount -t command. Next is the temp folder. Okay, it's like in Windows you have a temp folder which has temporary files which are there during the Windows startup, and it will gone after your Windows is off. Okay, like in same case we have a Linux temp folder in the Linux system as well, which contains all temporary file system which is not preserved when the system is rebooted. Okay, so it contains all temporary files which are loaded after your system is boot up. Okay, it is similar to your Windows system as well. Then it's a run command, run folder. So run is this is a new directory, and the system process use it to store temporary data for their any nefarious reasons. Okay, so like say if has some problem created in your Windows or like in a Linux, so it will store all the temporary data in a run folder. Okay, so after that we have this SRV. This is a server folder. The server directory contains the data for the servers. Like if you are running the servers for Linux box, the HTML files for the site, we go to the server HTTP. Okay, so this all the server related files are present in the SRV. After that, it is a var folder. So var folder is basically contains the variable data files. This includes the spool directories and files, administrative and the logging data, then a transient and a temporary files. Okay, so it will contains all the temporary files and logging data. In var we have different folders like var log, var mail, and var run. Okay, in a mail it contains the user mails, and the log it contains all the log files for different applications. Okay, similar case in a run it holds the lots of status and parameter information of actively running process daemons. Okay, so daemons is basically a background process which runs periodically. That is the daemons. Okay, so all these daemons will also listed down in this var run folder. Okay, and lastly it is lost and found. Okay, so in lost and found it contains all the recovered files, like whenever you are deleting the file, so it can be kept in this lost and found folders. So all these files are present over here, this lost and found. Then there is a proc. So let's see what's the proc present over this. Okay, so proc it basically contains the special files that represent the system and process information. Like ls mode is the name as cat proc modules. Okay, so let's see if the modules are present or not. Okay, modules are not there. So basically whenever you are loading kernel modules, okay, so automatically the module will be present over here. Okay, so the modules directory will be created, and the modules will be present like the modules folder. Okay, so basically it contains the special files that represent system and process information, and it contains lots of system utilities which calls to files in their directory. Okay, so like this memory info. Okay, so this is a memory info which will show the bunch of information about the system's memory, and this uptime. Okay, this is uptime which I think it will update uptime informations in seconds, and the partitions, I think it's partitions is there. Okay, so in the partition is basically it has a detailed information about the the available partitions for the system. Okay, and the command line, we have the command line as well. So this command line will contains the command line informations. Okay, so this proc file system maps mostly useful for the process table. Okay, so we are finding this very useful and started adding the other thing as well, like CPU info and memory statistics, device information, but it also raised the issue that proc was supposed to be the more process table. Okay, so that's it for the file hierarchy. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Please do like and subscribe our channel. Uh, up, we have planned the different videos as well for the upcoming sessions for the this Linux programming as well as the device driver and the kernel programming as well. Okay, so please subscribe our channel. We'll update the lots of videos and we have lots of upcoming sessions as well. So stay tuned with our channel. Have a nice day.